Want to try to do something here about the flash flooding that's happening in New Mexico. With climate change, we get both flash flooding, particularly in July, August, September, and we get about 10 inches of rain a year. So we're experiencing almost drought conditions and flash flooding. Want to try to do something where cars can have an opportunity to move safely, and I want to do something to collect the rainwater. So as the water rushes along the road, it builds deep crevasses we call arroyos in the landscape. These arroyos, the water runs along them, and you can't disrupt an arroyo with a road. That water wants to rush on through. And I want to walk across the property here and give you some sense of the ranch where I'm at, what it looks like as this water rushes from this roadway. And this is the lowest part of the property here. And here you can see I'm digging out trenches to try to keep the road water near the edge and divert some of it to use on the property itself. Here I'm walking across the property, give you a sense of here in the lower area where the water is seeping down, and here you can see where I've attempted to slow down the water as it crosses the property. And what we're doing is creating some sand dams, using some rocks to slow the water, doing some trenching, getting that water so it moves around a little bit, moves a little slower. This increases the vegetation, it retains groundwater, and it's part of how we can work to respond to these flash floods and drought conditions, given that we're only getting 10 inches of rain a year, and probably less than that. This is a view of the property in the lower left, that green area. That's where the lowest part of the property is when we get the water. So what I'm doing is gathering up some of these stones and building a small check dam. It's also called a sand dam, because what will happen, I'm building up slowly, just one layer to start with. The sand will get and silt will brush up here, the water will push it up, and this whole area will fill up, and it'll raise the level. Let me show you what we got here. So you can see on the sides here, the greasewood and creosote are able to grow. They're taking all the water out of the banks. Their roots are deep and flowing under where the silt is washing away. Now, this is all topsoil washing away. And so what I want to do is build this up so we raise the level of this arroyo. This is an arroyo. It's a stream that runs only when the rain is falling. We only get those 10 inches, only falls a few times of the year, and it's enough runoff so fast and so steep that it's deepening the arroyo. Well, deep arroyo does not spread the water onto the banks, and so you find pretty much greasewood, creosote is the other name, has taken it over. So it's building its creosote rings all around this area. So what I want to do, occasionally get a mesquite, but usually they're further up, further away from there. They'll compete for the same ground for sure. So here you have another check dam. What I'm doing is creating check dams all through this arroyo, And as it comes in on the property here, we're going to slow the water down with a series of check dams. And this will raise this whole area. It also stores the water underground, and that's why it's called a sand dam and a sand trap, because it's trapping the silt, the soil. It's good topsoil. You can move this topsoil around and use it in your gardening. And as it builds up with sand and topsoil, it's going to slow down the water, so when it gets to this wider area over where my little observation hut is, you see how that land is flatter and more spread out. And if you look in the distance there at the taller shrubs, that's where the property is at its lowest point. Here I've dug out what's called a demi-lune or a half moon, used a lot in Africa, and I'm channeling this water that's going to flow gray water from my gray water tanks on the other side, pump it out. But also in the few times it rains, we only get 10 inches of rain a year. And a lot of times the mountains back there, see how they're blocking the clouds? A lot of times they keep the clouds from coming this way. Usually today the wind is blowing the other way, so we have a chance of perhaps getting some rain. But it might just rain on the mountains here and pass us all together. And I'm not even sure I'm getting 10 inches a year of rain here in this arid desert. And these are just some tumbleweed that I planted along the berm and keep it going. Some of them are not doing that well, lack of water. Now we put in some horse manure, and it's gonna break up, and I'll take some the weed areas around here. Go ahead and put that on the top, make layers, get some compost running here. So this can become really good soil. I've moved in some of the topsoil that's in the area here. Less sand, no caliche, and that'll make a really good demi-lune. Demi-lune will catch the water running down, get it there, and on the top side I can plant trees in the demi-lune. I can grow some grass, maybe some tomatoes later, some other kinds of vegetables, maybe some fruit trees. It depends on how much water you can consistently capture. Let me take you, so let's take another look at the caliche here. So I want to dig this channel out. So I make an area where this heart that is. People try to dig straight down into this stuff, but actually caliche is layered. If you can get between some layers, you can pop it out. See that? See, that's caliche. And I want to widen this channel, popping out the caliche bit by bit. It's painstaking labor, but that's the way it was back in the day when people knew what different soil properties were and how to take care of the water runoff, and how to make bricks and pottery and other kinds of things using combinations of the caliche that we're going to show you more about, and the mud. So I get the cakes of mud here. Here's one. And then I get the caliche, which is harder. And I'll extract the mud to make maybe pottery or help with bricks or make some cob. But my hope is that the caliche will actually be valuable in its adhesive properties. It's like cement, all right? So yesterday I dug out the mud along the roadway. I'm building a diversion to catch the rainwater runoff. We're getting some clouds today. I hope to show you later this. Now look at the wonderful clay here I've got. I took the big clods. I had to use a blacksmith hammer and a chisel to get them out. But here you can see wonderful, wonderful mud. Now what I'm going to do is I've separated out the caliche here. And caliche is kind of what the Romans used, and I think what the Native Americans used to make cement, to make mortar, to make bricks. And right now caliche is relatively unknown by your Western white population. And what we're going to do is superheat this caliche in the forge here. I'm going to light the forge now so you get a sense of that. Okay, the coals are lit, and we're going to try to warm up this caliche, get it red hot. It's going to take a while to get the coals up to a heat, you know, like 1500, 2000 degrees. And I don't want to get it too hot because you'll actually melt the iron pot here. You'll melt the bottom out of it. So want to maintain a good steady heat and let that turn that caliche into get the carbon dioxide leached out of it. So, and then what we do, we break it down into a powder and we get calcium hydroxide. And we're able to take the calcium hydroxide and in powder form make it kind of like a clay dough, and Play-Doh kind of a consistency. And then what I'm going to mix is 1/3 of this to 2/3 of the mud mix. So I'll be breaking this down and mixing the caliche with about that much mud, and that'll make a really nice cement that I can use to make bricks. I can make bricks like this from doing that process. So let me turn it off and we'll wait till the thing heats up.